What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down with Fresh Out. You know how we do it over here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys don't miss out on any future videos. Also, go to freshoutseries.com, pick you up some merch, represent, and let's do this thing big for 2024. I'm going to keep bringing you guys the guests that nobody else can bring you. And today with me, I have Edwin Johnson. Worked in the Department of Corrections, got some hell of a stories, and we're about to get into it. So stay tuned and get your popcorn because it's going down. So, Edwin, tell the people about how you got involved in the prison industrial complex.
So I got involved in prison system back in 2004. I was about 24 years old, and I grew up in South Texas, where the prison system is voluptuous. We have a lot of prison systems, a lot of prison farms and prison facilities down in that area. Just being nosy, just wanting to, riding by this particular prison every year for 15, 16 years of my life, and not knowing what's going on over there. And at the same time, kind of looking for a job, looking for something to do, and decided to get involved in the prison system. I had seen the majority of my relatives go back and forth to prison a lot. They come back home with stories and different things they were telling about the prison system. So I wanted to involve myself in it, just kind of see what they were talking about, but also at the same time make a little money and try to invest in something different in my life, predominantly trying to stray away from the streets and not get myself involved in any kind of illegal activity myself, not realizing that I was going right into a facility where I was going to wind up being in illegal activity for the rest of my life. First and foremost, the prison system, of course, I'm pretty sure Big Hurt, it's $1 trillion industry, and it's been around for over 200 years. And so when I decided to go into the prison system, I decided to go into it looking at it from the inside out and trying to see what makes it tick. The first thing that I noticed when I got into the prison system, kind of fast forwarding a little bit, was that everybody is segregated. That's segregation. And it's funny because, as Black people in this country, we fought for desegregation, but the prison system has run segregation since the beginning of time, and it's been able to fluctuate, and it's been able to work. And it works very well because it keeps down the violence, it keeps down drama, it keeps down a lot of things. Also, it gives them an opportunity to have a little bit more protection as far as whites, Hispanics, Blacks. They're all protected very well. So when I got into the prison system, I learned very quickly how to observe, how to observe everything going on, everything from what's going on in the child hall, what's going on in the barbershop, what's going on in the library, what's going on the cell blocks, what's going on as said, closed custody. I learned how to sit back and observe first. That was my first thing. And what I observed mostly was that I observed guys that knew how to manipulate and pretty much, con you in any possible way possible, any way possible. And that was the first thing that I picked up on, and that was the first thing that I learned, and that was the first thing that I actually acquired in my job routine every day, was how to con you and how to manipulate you. And I also took it with me in the world, so it was a lot of things that I did every day that caused me to be able to make it out of there safely. And I used the con game to get out of there every day safely. To a point where, I could tell an inmate, hey, I'm not going to talk to you if you're standing over there. I need you to stand over here, just little small stuff. And it made me be aware that if I'm going to make it in this kind of a business for a long haul, I'm going to have to be more like them, which are criminals, instead of being like a civilian. And I learned how to be more like them every single day, because that was the only way I was going to make it in that, in that setting. And we did a lot of things every day as far as, teams, correct CO teams and stuff like that. but most of it went out the window. We didn't really use a lot of those techniques and those tactics because when you got down there to a cell block where you had a guy that was buck naked with no clothes on, he was slicked up with oil or lotion or whatever, that stuff went out the window. I had to talk him out of, hey man, just go ahead and lay down, man. I'll bring you $100, because this dude is 265 pounds of nothing but muscle. I got 3 or 4 young cats on my team. I can't tussle him down. What the hell am I supposed to do? We're going to either get killed, we're going to get some broken bones, or we're going to be here for a long time. So I began to learn how to, choose my battles wisely, working in the prison system. And the book that I'm writing is going to be through the eyes of a CO. And most of the time, you don't get, and I noticed that about a lot of your videos, you don't get a lot of guys on here from the CO perspective. And the COs, I don't know why they're not telling the stories, because there's so many stories to tell, man. I mean, I got hours and hours of stories, and I mean,
we're gonna get into them, and let you tell some of the crazier stories. But just hearing what you said right there, as far as being observant, that's one of the biggest things in prison, because everybody's wearing the same clothing, everybody's going to the same place, so it's almost like a micro of the macro of society. But
right.
Everybody is almost like in a almost in a like in a paradox, because you don't have green shirts, red shirts, or you don't have Nikes or you just what it's usually a couple pairs of different types of shoes on commissary. Everybody pretty much is trying to create an identity in a place where your identity's been stripped. You have no identity number. And one of the biggest things I saw in there that amazed me, and I used to wonder, like, what slavery was like. But when I seen this, right, in slavery, they say, okay, and Judge Joe Brown talks about a lot of this. He said they couldn't enslave the Native Americans because they'd rather die. They wouldn't put up with that. They were going to war. And when I look at like slavery and how it existed, I'm like, how they get these people to be so complacent and to not basically on every plantation kill these people, man. It was I don't give a damn if it was, 5, plantation owners, if there's a 30 or 40, you guys kill their ass. So when I used to go to the law library, and I tell this story a lot on my channel, there would be maybe a handful of guys over there and a handful of computers and, books and stuff to shepherdize and look up legal cases. And pretty much it was, you had your full reign. But then you go back to the unit and everybody would be looking at the TV. Everybody be pretty much just hanging out. And, they would look at you for being crazy, for studying and taking the time to research. And I'm like, dude, how they convinced 1,000, 2,000 guys that everything the government did or the state did was justified, and you just lay down. Nobody's filing papers.
That's the catch. The catch is, and you asked a great question. The question is, how do you get all these guys to sit in one room, watch the same TV, be acceptable to each other, compromise? The catch is, it starts from the top. The warden down to the last little bitty CO. Could be a female, could be a male, it don't matter. The catch is that everybody that works in that setting with them, all the COs, all the captains, all the lieutenants, they're there to compromise with them and deal with them from a father, mother, sister, brother setting. So when you go to the penitentiary and you've been locked up, I've worked there. If I see you having a hard time, if I see you having a bad day, my job is to calm you down. My job is to figure out what I got to do to keep this big black crazy MF from going crazy. My job is to be your brother. My job is to be your dad. My job is to be, your homeboy. My job is to figure out what I need to do to calm, Big Hurt down, man. Let me get him calmed down, man. Let me take him to commissary. Let him go to the infirmary. Say you want to go down there and shoot some ball. So what we have learned throughout the decades and decades of prison life is that it becomes something that inmates decided to chill with and deal with because of the people that they're working around. You implemented in the 70s and the 60s, you implemented women. When you implemented the woman, you implemented the woman at a great time. When black men were going to prison, they can put their pimp game down. You had white girls coming in there. You had Mexican chicks coming in there. The essays, they can hang out with the Mexican women. So it became something that everybody became accustomed and cool with and kind of relaxed with. Because if you think about it, if you're in the day room and you got a female on your block, hey, you're going to look at that female all day too. Damn, she look good. Damn, she fine. What can I go say to her? What can I talk to her about? So you became accustomed to just being chill and just trying to have a decent time every day because you got a good looking female on your block. If that makes sense. It's the lieutenants come down there. They say, hey, bring this guy his cell. Let him go down here and to the barbershop, let him get his hair cut. And I'm like, why? Like, this nigga ain't, why is he special? Because it's something that he did or it's something that he's doing in the prison system for the lieutenant or to the lieutenant for him to be able to have that privilege. And guess what? It makes it better for him. So he's able to live conveniently.
Now, I understand that concept, but my thing is, why aren't guys trying to research how to get out of prison early? See what I'm saying? Everybody's waiting.
Okay.
My thing is, I understand that whole thing because, see, I never adopted the prison mentality. I always told people I was passing through, and they always get mad at me because my mentality was, I don't give a damn about dominoes, prison basketball tournaments. I'm in the law library. I'm not, I had some college education, but I always thought out the box. So even smart people I see sometimes are in the box, but I always thought like, something didn't add up. When I was in the courtroom, I'm looking around, I'm seeing all these symbolism, when I'm seeing them keep asking my name and doing this and that, I'm looking like, dude, this shit there's something more to it. And then when you get to prison, you just lay down. I'm like, why aren't people trying to see if they can get out early? Why ain't nobody reading these legal books? Half the guys don't even know they don't even know what a statute is, what they got convicted of, except for what the attorney.
Right.
So I'm saying, you never read a Black's Law Dictionary. You've never even researched the codes or the statutes. Do you even know what a case law is? And these guys are cool with that. That's what I'm saying. That psychology part of it used to blow my mind. And that's why I said the slave mentality, because if you realize what freedom is and you're not willing to fight for it, I'm not saying you burn down the prison. I'm saying going and legally looking at options to see that, man, hold on, they violated my rights right here, the constitutional amendment. There, hardly anybody was challenging that. And that's what amazed me. It blew me away. And then when I see the streets and how conditioned people are to accept a condition and not question it, it all adds up.
Well, that takes a lot of avenues because you have some guys in there, like you got a fish bowl and you got a 1,000 fish. All the fish are not thinking about the same thing. So, like you say, you got a handful of guys in the law library that are trying to figure out what my case look like where I can kind of narrow down this time. But then you got guys over here in the day room that's over there hustling and trying to gamble on the basketball game because they're accustomed to saying, you know what, I'm cool with where I'm at. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm chill with that. I've had guys I talk to that say, hey, you know what, I'm better off in here, bro, because I molest kids too much.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you straight.
Yeah.
I'm better off in here, bro, because you know what? I'm a rapist, and I don't need to be around women like that.
Wow.
Or I'm a killer. Or I'm a robber. You know what I'm saying? And so you got guys in there that are being honest with you and saying, man, you know what? I'd rather be in the penitentiary. I'd rather be here, man. This is more convenient for me. I had one guy about 60 years old say, hey, I'm about to get out, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be out because I've been here since I was 20. He was in prison for 40 years. So that's your entire life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how can you look at this man and say he's gonna make it in 2020, whatever, and he's been there since he was 20 years old and he's 60 years old now. How's he gonna make it? How's he gonna make it? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
So for somebody like that, because I've seen guys like that where I've seen him in a halfway house and I just look at him like, that dude just did a 24 piece or 30 piece. I'm like, he has no family. The whole time he was in prison, he was in prison mentally. So he never really was thinking about on the street. So he didn't prepare himself
Never.
mentally. So when he gets out there, he's going to the job center, he's going to the employment center or trying to get Social Security. And he's like, dude, this is too much. He don't get his free roll of toilet paper. He ain't used to going to the mess hall every day. It's like he's programmed. So
right.
the halfway house is about as close to the streets that he want to go. So he'll purposely maybe get a dirty piss test or do something to go back because, like you said, a lot of these guys when they're in there, and I tell people all the time, institutionalized. You can be institutionalized on the street, but institutionalized in prison is when you buy into the program. And I told a guy one time, he said, Big Herc, what you gonna do when you get out? I said, man, I got plans that, I used to have a vision board. And I said, see, I'm not limited to this. I said, but, and no offense, but I'm not during the garden. And I said, dude, this is your career, right? You gonna retire from this? I said, me, I can do anything I want to in the world. I get out of here, I'm not done. And a lot of inmates get mad at me because they like, you better just get out there and get a job. I said, man, why are you worried about what I'm gonna do? You need to worry about what you're gonna do. So it's a crazy dynamic of psychology. And by you having gotten out the system and you've seen it because you peak game, but I'm saying a lot of guys, they get in there and even I see guards become institutionalized because outside of the prison, they don't have a life. They're hooking up with other guards' wives, doing things with the inmate. They're actually in prison with the inmates.